Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean. In this video, I'm going to share with you a powerful channeled audio message from Archangel Michael to help us all through this global crisis that we are currently experiencing. And if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be here 3 times a week, every week, to support you through this journey. Now, I am a full body channel, so when you listen to this audio of Archangel Michael, you will definitely hear my voice change. Now, without further ado, here is Archangel Michael. Greetings, dearest friends. It is Archangel Michael, Michael, or Mikhail, whichever address you prefer. I am here today to speak to you about what could be considered an urgent matter, that being specifically the condition you find yourselves in currently on this planetary sphere. Now, it is time for some straight talk for those who are prepared to hear it. Therefore, this address is specifically for those who desire to go to what I would term the next level and beyond in your consciousness. Because you see, you actually need to go well past what you perceive as the next level. You actually need to go to a level that you haven't even thought of before, that you have never contemplated before. Because your situation can be viewed in one of two ways. It can be viewed either as a golden opportunity or a window, or it can be viewed as a very destructive, negative path. And the beautiful thing, my friends, is that you get to choose the outcome. Now, I speak to all of you on this planet who are benevolent, who are heart-centered, and who want only the best for this magnificent planetary Earth. Those who perhaps are not quite there yet will eventually get there at some point in their evolution. But I wish to speak specifically to those who know for a fact that you are there right now. So you are the people that I wish to address. Those of you who in your sincere, deepest heart want only the best possible outcome, that which is a manifestation of love and light and freedom and power, meaning empowerment of the human being. So speaking to those of you who understand yourselves to be in that particular place within your consciousness, let us have the straight talk right now. I suggest that you take a step back from your situation and look at it for what it is. You are on a slave planet. Now, I know there are those who wish to debunk that all over the place. But I want to suggest that you come to terms with this yourself by looking at it for yourself. Because I no longer see any more time to dance around this issue and pretend it to be otherwise. When you have an entire population on a planet who can be instructed to shut their entire lives down because those in charge tell them to, and of course have a very good reason. I'm not here to dispute the reason. I'm not actually here to dispute anything. I am simply here to enlighten you. I'm simply here to give you a perspective that is well beyond even this lifetime that you find yourselves in right now. So your lifestyle looks basically like this. You were told what to do from the day you take your very first breath, and that trajectory flows all the way through until your current physical body perishes. And throughout that entire lifespan, you become very good at doing what you're told. You construct a life that is in the image of those who are not you. And you do this in a collective manner. So I don't want to suggest that you simply believe what I am telling you, because I caution you this, my dearest friends. If you are merely going to see that which is I as some authority figure that you are needing to believe, you have not fixed your predicament one bit. Because you see, that is your problem. Your problem is there's always an outside authority. And that even goes so far as to make God your outside authority. Maybe that's shocking, but you don't have any time left. Need I tell you that you are actually one with that which creates you? You are actually one with that which you refer to as the source of all that is. Need I remind you of that when I say to you that when you make even God your outside authority, you are a slave to everything. What you truly are is a manifestation of that source of love and light. You are intended to be the most pure manifestation of that which is the creative force of the entire universe. And I can tell you this much, a total suppression of who you are, a total suppression of all your freedom is in no way a manifestation of that which is the ultimate love. Now, there is not a simple fix to your situation, and I do not wish to imply that there is. Rather, I wish to present to you a process of evolution, a process of awakening. Now, I know the commonly used term on this planet is spiritual awakening. Well, that is fine, but we can delete the word spiritual if you want to truly be who you really are. Because who you really are is complete and is whole and is that which is made of love. So let us simply refer to it as your awakening. You're waking up to who you really are. And you may at this moment view that which is I as your big, gigantic alarm clock. It is time. It is time to wake up. It is time to stop sleeping. It is time to stop making excuses for the situation you find yourselves in. Now, before I continue, I wish to add something very, very important. On a physical level, I am in no way recommending that you fight against those who are in charge of your world. Rather, I would suggest that you be very stealthy in your realizations. Because if you attempt to fight anything on a physical level, you shall lose. What I wish to do is to empower you and to illustrate to you where your true power lies. Because where your true power lies, you have no need to fight anything on a physical level. You can certainly continue to obey those who are in authority in this current situation. And if you are wise, you probably will for a time. But do not position yourself for revolt or fight or battle. All of that is just more of the same. It will not help you. Stay calm, stay peaceful. Take this time that you have by yourselves to come to terms with who you really are, to ask yourself if you are fed up enough to come into your true power as an infinite being. Because that is the only place you can go from here. Otherwise, you are headed for somewhere that you do not wish to be. Unless you're not finished with that experience. So let me enlighten you about a few things. I wish to speak to you from a very broad perspective. Not the narrow perspective that has been imposed upon you that says the only thing that exists in the universe is planet Earth. There is no life anywhere else. There is nothing anywhere else. The universe is a void, and Earth is it. So, how big is your planet? Have you ever contemplated the actual size of your planetary sphere? This planet is so minute in size relative to the whole cosmos that it is a ludicrous idea that there's only life here and nowhere else. Surely you have enough common sense to understand that simple thought. So with that said, the next question is, why haven't you been told that there is an entire universe of life? Why haven't you been told that there's an interdimensional reality of life? Why have you been lied to and told you are it and there is nothing else? And more importantly than why you've been told, my question to you is, why have you believed this? Why have you not reasoned this out for yourself? That's the real question. The reason that you have not reasoned this out for yourselves is because, like everything else in your life, bar nothing, you are always waiting for another authority figure to tell you what to think, to tell you what the truth is, to tell you literally everything that it is that you need to know. So your ability to reason at a cosmic level, which is the level at which you need to be reasoning right now, is basically shut down. Because whatever you reason for yourself, you check with your authorities, you check with those in charge to see if it matches. And if it doesn't match, you toss it in the garbage can. That is not a way to live, my friends. That is a slave system. Now, this planet is a precious, beautiful jewel. It is one of the most pristine, gorgeous orbs in the cosmos, certainly in the galaxy and beyond. But it is being used. It is being used by those who have no right to be here. And I'm not speaking of your human population. I'm speaking of that which lies beyond it. Therefore, do not fall into the trap that you have been well set up for, to blame each other, to blame any other human being, whether they appear to be in charge of you or not. Do not blame each other. That is a trap that has been set for you. You have fallen into it beautifully and unfortunately for your holistic planetary well-being. Stop blaming each other. Stop blaming yourselves. That is the first thing that you must do. Stop fighting against the situation you now find yourselves in. Let it be what it is. You are more powerful than this situation. You do not have to fight against it. So what I'm here to tell you is that it is time to awaken to your power. Now, for anyone who has interpreted the term spiritual awakening to be sort of a side thing, like the newfangled religion of the modern age. It is not a religion, my friends. Your very life depends on it, and I do not refer to your physical body's life. I refer to that which you refer to as your soul. That's the life I'm referring to. Your life as a cosmic entity, as a soul who is perhaps tired of this scenario over and over and over again, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, who is perhaps tired of the duality, tired of the battle, the suffering, the pain, and most of all, tired of fear. That is the life that I refer to when I say that your life depends on your waking up. So spiritual awakening is not just waking up on planet Earth in terms of the circumstances on planet Earth. Spiritual awakening refers to waking up in the cosmos, my dearest friends. Waking up as the cosmic being that you truly are. You must wake up because you are at a crossroads. You are in an ascension process. Things are going to be decided based upon you yourselves. Now, let me address the topic of looking for salvation, looking for outside forces to save you. You may not be aware of this, but there are multiple forces around you right now and around your planet that are doing all that is possible to help you out, to bring you out of this dire situation. And when I say dire, I'm not referring merely to a virus. I am referring to something much bigger than that. And that is why I'm recommending that you do not fight anything on a physical level. Because if you fight it on a physical level, you really do not comprehend your larger situation. What you need to do is wake up at a cosmic, inter-universal level, not just universal, inter-universal. Interdimensional goes without saying. That's obvious. You need to wake up at that level because you are indeed at a crossroads. Now, when you wake up at a cosmic level, not at the level of, oh, my career is not really what I want to be doing. I'd rather be doing something different. That is wholly insufficient, my dearest friends. You must wake up at a cosmic level. Now, why do I speak to you so strongly at this point in time? I shall explain. I speak to you this strongly at this point in time because your entire planet is being shut down on a human level. Right now, it's relatively new. Right now, you still have some energy within you to come out of this at a cosmic level. Forgetting about the physical, just at a cosmic level. But if you persist in procrastinating, if you persist in waiting around, if you persist in excusing your plight with every excuse that's ever been thought of in the entire history of humankind, if you persist in that, your energy is going to wane. You are going to become depressed. You're going to become drained, and you may not be able to pull yourself up to the extent that you need to wake up at the level that you need to wake up. So that is why I implore you, if you desire to move beyond where you find yourselves and where you have found yourselves for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, then now is the time, dear friends. Now is the time to wake up. Let us talk for a moment about what that means. What does waking up actually mean in the context of the current planetary dilemma? Here's what it means. Let me first frame for you what is going on. Those that enshroud this earth, and I use that word perhaps not in the most what you would term positive way, but those who enshroud this planet use fear to motivate you to shut everything down and behave yourselves. Fear is the weapon that is being used against you. As long as you can be kept in fear, you will not experience any power whatsoever. So you can be all preoccupied with the virus. Viruses have been around for millions of years. The virus is not your chief issue. You can deal with the virus, right? You know how to deal with a virus. But what you're missing is your true enemy is the fear. That's the thing that is crushing you right now. The fear is crushing you, and it is being used specifically and intentionally to crush you. And not only that, there are those who really love that energy of your fear. So they want to have one final meal before this whole thing plays out. Again, I speak to you on a cosmic level. So as long as you can be kept in fear, there is not a chance anywhere that you are going to experience who you really are. Now, let me give you some very good news. But in order to experience the good news that I'm about to give you, you are going to have to, it's going to take everything you have. It's going to take every ounce of consciousness and will and desire that you have. Let me go back for a moment to letting you know that there is tremendous energy around your planet right now here to support you and to help you through this. However, those of us who wish to do this for you can only go as far as you yourself are willing to go. So therefore, allow me to give you some inspiration. Right now, on a physical level of slavery, it looks like there is a very small number of people in charge. Forget about that. Forget about all that. That's just appearance. That's just an appearance. That's all it is. It's just appearances. That's what it appears to be. So those who are in charge must function according to the system that is currently in place. Now, there's not a lot of imagination in that system, my dearest friends. In fact, the options are extremely limited, which is why you see the draconian measures being taken right now. Because there are very few options that can be utilized. So what do you do? What do you do when you sit helplessly in your homes, waiting for a handful of people in charge to tell you what to do next, knowing full well, if you're in your right mind, that those people don't have the slightest idea what is going on in the bigger picture of things? But yet you rely on their small-mindedness, and I do not mean that in an insulting way. I mean that in the sense that when you have such a tiny context, you really don't have a lot to work with. So here's what I suggest to all of you. Or here's what I wish to inform you about, and hopefully this will inspire you. You have the most immense power that you are not even utilizing. Why aren't you utilizing it? Because you want to continue to believe in this system of slavery. Because you insist on believing in this system of slavery. And I remind you yet again, do not attempt to fight this on a physical level. I caution you, do not attempt to fight any of this on a physical level because you will most certainly lose that battle. But back to what I was saying a moment ago about your insistence on believing in this system of slavery as being all there is in the entire cosmos, which is rather absurd when you think about it, isn't it? If you wish to identify yourself in that fashion, you will have no conceivable way to tap into your power. Can you reason out why that is? Because any entity who puts themselves in that position has little or no power to create, because they have no freedom to create and they have no freedom to think outside their imposed box. So awakening means to wake up from that scenario. Now, there are many people on this earth who are not tired of this yet and who will continue going down this very same road. But for those of you who are tired of it, here's what I want to tell you. You are a creator. That is not just words. You hear the words, oh, you're all creators, you're all creators. Well, why aren't you creating if you're a creator? What are you creating? You're creating very little or next to nothing. Do you have any idea the power that you collectively have just using your own mind? Have you any idea the massive power that you have where you don't have to lift a physical finger to do anything to change this situation? Do you realize that if you can get out of fear and come into love and recognize fear as merely a weapon being used against you and not take the bait, and come from pure, unadulterated love and the confidence of being who you truly are as the cosmic entity that you are, that entity who has hopefully had enough of this, with the power of your higher intelligence, with the power of what I refer to as your cosmic mind, that is not the thinking, conscious mind that talks to you all day long. It is something far beyond it. But with the power of your cosmic mind, you have the power to create an end to this current situation, a beautiful outcome to this situation, a manifestation that will shock you to your core of how magnificent that outcome can be. But here's the thing. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot continue to regard yourselves in the same way that you have and exercise that level of power. Now, this will not be the first message that I give you. I remain waiting to see if you are even interested in this message. If you are interested in this message, I will indeed have much more to convey to all of you. But it is really up to you. Please know that there are, I'll put it this way, there is a great deal of support surrounding your planet right now that have your highest, best interests at heart. So no, you are not alone. You've never been alone. You've made yourselves alone by the way in which you see yourselves. You've made yourselves alone by the way in which you believe nonsense. What is the nonsense? I'll save that for another transmission. But for right now, my intention in this communication is to hopefully inspire you and give you food for thought. Give you something to consider, because now you are in a prime situation to do so. That's how it is that you can turn this beginning of this scenario into a blessing. So here you sit at home, most of you. All of your life activities have been completely cut off. Now you can be with yourself. Now you can examine the bigger situation and how you see yourself in that bigger situation. You have an opportunity to contemplate all that I have conveyed to you here. You have an opportunity to come to terms with yourself as a cosmic being who has lived through multiple lifetimes of being used. You don't have to take my word for that, dearest friends. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, here's what you need to do. You need to look at all of the excuses that you have made for all the predicaments you found yourselves in. You need to look at all of the spiritual and so-called divine justifications that you have come up with and believed in, that duality is all right. Duality is just fine. Suffering is okay because it leads to a particular end in mind of learning. But I think that is enough for today. I shall return if you so desire, because there is a great deal more that you need to understand. So for now, be with what I've said. Remember what I've said. Contemplate this. And I'm sending you a great deal of presence, love, light, and most of all, inspiration. Come to terms with who you are. Come to terms with your desire. Ask yourself, how many more lifetimes do you want to go through this kind of thing and or worse? Ask yourself that question and then answer it from the deepest place within your heart. And do not be afraid to answer truthfully. Do not be afraid to answer from what you really feel in your heart, because your heart knows the truth. Your heart knows reality. Do not doubt what your heart has to share with you. And with that, I bring you blessings and love and angelic light to surround you and all that you love. Goodbye.